Przed Państwem Alexei Vladishev, przedstawiciel firmy Zabbix. Tak naprawdę przedstawiciel to jest za mało powiedziane, bo to jest założyciel i CEO. Prezentacja pod tytułem Zabbix Future Near and Far.
Okay, all right, so yeah, thank you very much and good afternoon. Actually, it's a great pleasure to be here, and this is, well, 10th anniversary of Open Source Day here in Warsaw. Well, it's congratulations to all organizers. It's really awesome. So my talk today will be about Zabbix. Well, today and tomorrow I will talk where Zabbix is now and where we are moving. We'll talk a little bit about the new features you may expect in new releases of Zabbix. Yes, my name is Alexei Vladishev. I'm a creator of Zabbix. I've been working on Zabbix almost 20 years now. So currently I'm a CEO and product manager of Zabbix company. So I'm responsible basically for all high-level decisions in regards of how develop a company, how develop a business, but also which way we are going as a product, as an open source product. So today and nowadays, monitoring is really essential part of any IT infrastructure. Because if we implement some services for customers, we build some SaaS solutions or whatever, we need some friend to look at what we did, to check periodically if services are up and running, if they're available, if they are providing the level of performance we are expecting to. So it's really hard to imagine a serious service or IT infrastructure without a monitoring tool in place. And we, as Zabbix team, we have a team of about 50 people right now. We have offices in Riga, in Latvia, which is really near to Warsaw, actually. We have an office in Tokyo, and we have office in New York. So our team is quite distributed. We have about 50 people working full-time on bringing Zabbix. So what is Zabbix? Zabbix, for those who don't know, do you know what is Zabbix actually? Who use Zabbix? Okay, so most of us, but maybe for those who don't know what is Zabbix, Zabbix is a universal open source enterprise level monitoring solution. And actually, everything is really important here. First, Zabbix is open source. We have a single product, and it is open source. We use exactly the same license as Linux kernel, as GPL v2. We don't have any enterprise or paid or closed source releases of Zabbix. No, we do single product and we give it away for free. And I'm very pleased that people, maybe in some poorer countries, they can use Zabbix, okay? Everyone can use Zabbix. You just go to our website, you download Zabbix, and you can use it basically for whatever purposes, for monitoring of environments of any size. And obviously, it's a universal solution. So we are not quite focused on application performance monitoring of agent-less monitoring or monitoring of clouds or something like that. We are trying to build a universal platform, an open source universal monitoring platform. This is really, really important. So Zabbix is actually able to monitor the whole stack of IT infrastructure, starting from hardware, network operating system, up to middleware, virtual level application, cloud resources, up to maybe some business metrics. And Zabbix does performance, availability monitoring. It also has its own agents, basically for all platforms, for all operating systems, like I know Linux, Windows, AX, Solaris, HPX, even True64. We basically use all industry standard protocols like IPMI or JMX or a network level SNMP or SNMP traps and SNMP polling. For virtual layer, we do out-of-the-box monitoring of the VMware infrastructure using VMware API and so forth, and so on and so forth. So Zabbix is quite universal in this respect, but it's not only limited to the infrastructure monitoring. Zabbix is built. Zabbix works in a very simple way, actually. Zabbix collects some information, some metrics, it analyzes the metrics in real time, and then it makes some decisions. It discovers problems or issues with those metrics, and it makes some decisions afterwards. And this pattern could be applied to metrics, or to any metrics, not necessarily related to IT infrastructure, but also some business metrics, SLAs or KPIs, metrics that supports business, also environmental monitoring, temperature, humidity, whatever, IoT, and so on and so forth. Yeah, so we are not specifically focused on IT infrastructure monitoring, but this is really important part of Zabbix, but also Zabbix can be applied to other types of monitoring. So just a few numbers, yeah, where we are now. We are getting more than 2 million of downloads per year. It's only source distribution. Zabbix is also part of CentOS, Red Hat, Debian, Ubuntu on distros distribution, so we don't actually know what's the total number of downloads. I would expect that Zabbix is used by hundreds of thousands of users around the world, but this is just my rough estimate. I don't know if it's much higher or maybe lower. Zabbix is translated to 15 languages, and it's really important because actually some solutions on the market, they are provided in English only. And I think it's not so good, yeah. So Zabbix comes with 15 languages, and it scales to monitoring of millions of metrics. Actually, the largest customer we have now, the largest users, it uses Zabbix to monitor more than 200,000 of physical machines. Yeah, this is a large retail network consisting of 12,000 of shops, with Zabbix proxy installed per each shop and all reporting to a single Zabbix server. Okay, so this is the level of scale we may get right now with Zabbix. But still, we need to think about the future. So which direction we are moving? What needs to be improved in Zabbix? So which way we go? And when we are thinking about the roadmap, what needs to be included in the next major release, or maybe we are thinking even further, next major release, we are building a roadmap. And roadmap basically consists of some features, and features are coming from different sources. One is obviously a paid feature. Yeah, so some company decide to extend Zabbix, they decide to pay us some money, we extend the Zabbix product, we deliver this feature to a customer, and we include it in the next version of Zabbix, so it's available for everyone. It's still the same open source. Yeah, we don't do customer-specific changes. There are some exceptions, but we are pretty much interested in doing some development which can be included into our base product, so it will be available to everyone. There are obviously some strategic features, and I will talk about some of the strategic features later on. These are features which we feel needs to be implemented into Zabbix. Yeah, we really believe that this feature, it's really important for the future of Zabbix. That's why we decide, okay, we have to invest our time and money implementing this feature. We listen to community. We'll talk about this a little bit later. Obviously, we fix some technical debt that can be in our code. And we also doing things related to blocking feature. Blocking feature is a feature which really blocks users from using Zabbix, okay? Some groups of users, they need a very small feature, and if this feature is not in the product, they will choose some different product, okay? And we are trying to understand what are the blocking features, and we are implementing one feature or another. And this is how Zabbix roadmap is built. But talking about the direction, what we are seeing in the future, I think this part is really, really important. Out-of-the-box monitoring. You install Zabbix in your infrastructure, and Zabbix should be smart enough to monitor different parts and different applications in your infrastructure. You have MySQL, it shouldn't be a problem for Zabbix to monitor MySQL. Oracle, SAP, network switches, log files, whatever. So Zabbix should be smart enough and should have capabilities to do out-of-the-box monitoring. I'm not sure you see it or not, but some time ago I came to our developers and support guys and asked them, how do we monitor Apache with Zabbix? What way we suggest to users and to customers? And they said me, okay, there are a number of ways. We may analyze the log files, but we may also enable the mod status on Apache side, so it just give us some information about how Apache is running. We can do this, we can do that. So, and I thought, oh, well, it's absolutely not easy for our users. Absolutely, yeah. Our users rely on some script to do basically very simple thing to monitor Apache. And then we analyzed it. So what is really needed for out-of-the-box monitoring? And one of the things is basically we understood that we need ability to deal with the data of any type, with the metrics of any format, with unstructured data, with JSON, XML, some plain text, whatever. Okay, like in this case, we are getting some text from Apache, but we have to parse it somehow. Yeah, we need to understand. Here is maybe uptime. Here is something else. Here is something else. We really need abilities to understand what is there. So, and in Zabbix 3.4, and this feature is already implemented, we introduced preprocessing pipelines. So what does it mean? In an item configuration, an item prototypes configuration, for those who know Zabbix, now we have a preprocessing tag. So we receive some data from external source, and we may do some preprocessing steps, okay? Do some, I don't know, regular expression, trimming, transfer from hexadecimal to decimal, and so on and so forth. So we can kind of create a pipeline when out of unstructured text, out of XML or JSON, we retrieve a value we are interested in, okay? And this is what currently is implemented. We are working on JSON and XML, and support of Lua is coming. I think it is coming in Zabbix 4.0, all right? This is very, very nice feature, okay? And just a few use cases. We receive data like 12 centigrades. We do write trim, and we got temperature 12. Well, it's very simple, just write trim. We are not interested in centigrades. We are interested in numeric value, and that's it. The next is, well, JSON. I don't know if you see it or not. It's kind of a very simple JSON. Number of users, 10,004. Okay, we use a JSON preprocessing. We get a user count out of JSON. We have some Apache extended log file, and we are interested in the response code and response size. We may use some regular expressions. We get the response code and response size. And then we get some unstructured text, yeah, like this Apache status thing. And then we use regular expression or Lua scripting, and again, we get some value out of data, okay? The next is bulk processing of metrics. In order to do efficient monitoring of data, we need ability in Zabbix to retrieve lots of data with one request. All right? Suppose we would like to monitor Oracle. Oracle returns us, I don't know, the status of all table spaces, how much free space we have there, what kind of databases are available, the status of all listeners, and so on and so forth. We receive basically the bulk, maybe JSON or the comma-separated value, whatever. And then we need to have an ability in Zabbix to do a bulk processing of the incoming metrics. And in Zabbix, and we are working on it right now, it will be available in Zabbix 3.4, we came with the idea of dependent metrics. Yeah? When we have some parent metric, like unstructured text, like this one, or JSON, or XML, or something else, and then we using these preprocessing pipelines, we extract some data, and we put these values into child metrics. Okay? So child metrics, they take this data, unstructured text, and extract the information this metric is interested in. Like Apache version, here is Apache version, this is the uptime, this is the number of requests per second, this is a number of workers doing maybe some DNS requests. Okay, one metric and some child metrics. I think it will improve efficiency of monitoring very, very much. Okay, on different sides of Zabbix. The second thing is a visualization. I think this is a really important part. Some people think, okay, why would we need a visualization from a monitoring tool? Because monitoring is supposed to send alerts, send notifications. But I think that visualization is really important for understanding what's going on with my systems. Yeah, what's going on in our environment. What we plan to do, first of all, that's our kind of strategic direction is to make our UI much simpler. Okay, we'd like to simplify it, and we are finding different ways how to make it more simple. For example, in Zabbix 3.2, this is current stable release, we introduced this monitoring problems view, which is really, I'm not sure if you see it okay or not, but basically this is a timeline of all your problems. This is current system state, and this is a timeline. You've got some problem would blink for a period of time. You see some duration, you see the age of the problem, if it was acknowledged or not, some tags associated with the problem, and so on. So this is a very simple but a very efficient view for your network operation guys. But also, what we are working right now, and this is basically the reason why Zabbix 3.4 is delayed a little bit, is we are working on a new dashboards, which will be flexible, which would be very easy to deal with the drag and drop, with the resizing, with move capabilities, with sharing options, and so on and so forth. So we are taking the best of Zabbix screens, and existing Zabbix dashboard, combine the whole functionality, and introduce a new dashboard. This is just a preview. Yeah, in Zabbix 3.4 we will support all widgets already supported by Zabbix screens: graphs, maps, plain text data, information about problems. So all these widgets will be supported already in Zabbix 3.4. So I like this very much. And later on we'll start working on new widgets, on new ways how to present data we have in Zabbix. And in Zabbix we have lots of data. Yeah, we just need to think about smart ways how to present data in a good way, so it's human readable, right? So the new widgets will be introduced. And scalability. Okay, so as you know, Zabbix currently uses relational databases. Normally, most of the users, they use MySQL or Postgres. Some use Oracle and DB2. So 4 database engines are supported in Zabbix. So Zabbix keeps everything, configuration and history in the relational databases. And obviously, if your environment is small, it works pretty much okay, and it may scale to, I don't know, hundreds of gigabytes, no problem. But if you're talking about maybe some petabytes of historical information, or even hundreds of gigabytes on a smaller hardware, it doesn't scale well. Okay, it doesn't work very much. There's just no horizontal scalability with MySQL and Postgres, unfortunately. And I've been thinking about this problem for a few years. Yeah, I've been evaluating different NoSQL solutions available on the market, like InfluxDB, which at some point was not pretty stable. Yeah, honestly, I've been looking at the OpenTSDB, and the OpenTSDB, it still doesn't support a nanosecond resolution of data. It is coming, as far as I know, yeah, but it doesn't support. In Zabbix, we have nanosecond resolution for all timestamps. OpenTSDB doesn't support it. Elastic is, I think, is quite good candidate to keep some data, some historical data. What else? Maybe some Cassandra, maybe some Kafka for further maybe processing, and then actually we realize that maybe instead of supporting a specific storage engine, we'll come up with REST API. So, and now we are working on REST API for keeping historical data, and it will work in a very simple way. So Zabbix server will call REST API. It will be very well-defined API, like maybe some history put, whatever, I don't know. And then there will be a simple connector processes for different storage engines. So basically this connector process, it will take a REST API call and it will make it transform it to call which is supported by, I don't know, InfluxDB or OpenTXDB or Elastic. Yeah? This way we don't really have to support the whole stack of different storage engines. On Zabbix side, we just need to support REST API and maybe a few connectors. And actually, it will allow our users and our partners and our community members to write their own connectors to support the different storage engines. Okay? And when we think about this approach, it really gives us immediately high availability on a storage level. It will give us redundancy, and it will give us the horizontal scalability, which provides, for example, Elastic or some other database engine. So this is really cool. Actually, we already have a prototype which is ready. We do some experiments with InfluxDB, but also it's very easy to do this connector process to communicate to Elastic or to OpenTXDB. Okay, this is also coming in Zabbix 3.4 as an experimental feature for now, but I think in Zabbix 4.0 it will be officially supported. So the scalability is really important, especially for larger users. Obviously, when we think about the future of Zabbix, we need to look at the kind of changing landscape, IT landscape. Nowadays, bigger companies are not only bigger companies, they are thinking how to make IT more efficient, okay? How to make it more dynamic, how to build the products in a much shorter way and deliver there to customers. And obviously, it's all about cloud. It's all about some software-defined infrastructure. Okay, the infrastructure becomes very, very dynamic. So I really believe that pretty soon there will be support of the monitoring of cloud resources and different cloud providers, also out of the box by Zabbix. It is coming. And we just returned we've been in Boston 2 weeks ago at Red Hat Summit and then OpenStack Summit, and we saw actually the great interest of bigger companies to moving to private and the public cloud. They are very interested to build much more efficient infrastructure. They don't really want to deal with hardware, with servers anymore. Yeah, so that's really important. Community. Community is another driving force of any changes happening in Zabbix. Okay, and community actually there is a tracker. If you go to support.zabbix.com, there's a project called Zabbix Next. This is where our users may register their feature request. If you want to have some feature in Zabbix, you go there and you register your feature. And some other community members may vote. They are voting, okay? And then when we are building a roadmap, we think, okay, we just take a top 10 or top 100 of all the feature and we decide, do we have ability to implement it right now? Is it really important feature or not? Do we know how to do it? And actually, in Zabbix 3.4 and Zabbix 4.0, we are delivering at least 4 features out of top 10. And one of those top 4, it's in the 4th place. And actually, I know, Lazar, it doesn't work here. 121 of community members voted for this feature. And when I see number 121, okay, 100 people, maybe it's not that much, but I really understand that this is just a small fraction of people who are really interested in this feature, because it takes some effort for people to go, to register, to vote. So for me, it's not maybe 121 people, but maybe 12,000 of people who are interested in it, or maybe twice more or 5 times more, okay? So this feature is already implemented. If you're interested, you may just download the latest sources and see how it works. So if you're using Zabbix in a distributed environment and using Zabbix proxy, the proxy is able to execute remote commands. That's what this feature is about. Another one, top 7, again from top 10, integration with Active Directory and LDAP. We really hope to implement this feature in 3.4, but I think it will be postponed to the next major release, maybe to 4.0, end of this year. This is a very tight integration between a Zabbix and Active Directory or Open LDAP. It will allow us to basically manage users, manage user group membership, and it basically means permissions from Active Directory. We don't have to deal with it in Zabbix. This is really, really nice. I like this feature a lot, especially for those users who has Active Directory or some single sign-on solutions. It helps them very much. Another one is top N feature, notifications on problem acknowledgement. So when someone in Zabbix acknowledge a problem, we don't generate notifications currently. Yeah, it's kind of it's not good. Yeah. And the reason why this feature was not implemented for such a long time, we couldn't find a good technical solution how to make it happen. We were trying to find something elegant, yeah, and finally we did it. So this feature is coming in Zabbix 3.4 finally. Now another one, top 10, especially for those who are interested in Java and JMX monitoring. So who is doing JMX monitoring with Zabbix? Okay, yeah, there are a few. Okay, so there will be configurable JMX endpoints, which would allow us to monitor things like, I don't know, WebLogic, WebSphere in a much easier way, with possibility to proxy JMX requests and so on. So I think that Zabbix is going to be a very good release. So preprocessing and child metrics, this is a very big thing. I think it creates a foundation for many interesting things in the future. Dynamic dashboards is just the beginning of the better visualization in Zabbix. We already have maps, we already have graph screens, but really we are still working and thinking about the better ways of representing data to users. Scalable history storage, also very important, especially for larger installations. And if you ask me when Zabbix 3.4 might be delivered, it's planned to be delivered actually in March this year. Okay, so actually 2 months ago. It's still not there yet because we couldn't fit. Okay, so currently we plan actually. We have, or our plan is to have one release ready every 6 months, yeah? But some of the features we are working right now, like dynamic dashboards, it just couldn't fit this. 6 months, well, for us, it wasn't enough, so we decided to postpone release of Zabbix 3.4 to June 2000 this year, yeah? This is important, actually, the year. And I believe that Zabbix 4.0, next major release, LTS release with long-term support, it should be available by the end of this year. So that's our intention at the moment. Well, I'd like all of you to have a look at Zabbix conference on our website. This will be the 7th conference we are doing in Riga in September. So if you're interested in Zabbix, you'd like to meet some community members and participate in the nice discussions and talk about Zabbix and exchange knowledge, well, you're very, very welcome. It's going to be in Riga in September. I think the 2nd week of September this time. Well, thank you very much. And if you'd like to see Zabbix in action, you're very welcome to our booth. So I will demonstrate for you. Thank you.